Ladies, you know, I've been in this business a long time. And one thing I've learned about relationships is that men are simple, but women make them complicated. Now, I'm not saying women are the problem. No, no, no. But here's the thing, men value what they can't easily have. And ladies, I'm about to tell you something that a lot of women don't understand. The more a woman refuses certain things, the more a man values her. And I ain't talking about playing games. I'm talking about knowing your worth, standing your ground, and refusing the things that cheapen you. Now, listen to me. The first thing a man notices is respect. Respect is huge. When a woman respects herself, she automatically commands respect from a man. If you give yourself away too easily, if you let a man walk all over you, he won't value you. But when you stand up for yourself, when you say, I won't compromise my standards, he sees that woman as someone rare. He sees someone who's special, someone worth fighting for. And let me tell you something, ladies. Men are hunters. They like to chase. If you make it too easy, he might not try. But when you set the bar high, when you refuse disrespect, he starts paying attention, and that's when value is created. Patience is another thing men value. And I'm not just talking about waiting on him to call you. I'm talking about taking your time in love, in intimacy, in really building something meaningful. You ever notice that the women who rush into everything often get hurt, and the men who don't have to try don't value them? But when a woman takes her time, when she doesn't let him have everything on a silver platter, men start noticing. They start to appreciate her effort. They start to see that she's not just anybody. And let me tell you, that kind of patience makes a man respect and value a woman more than you can imagine. Boundaries. Now, that's a big one. Men respect boundaries. Women, you gotta have them. I've seen too many women give too much, compromise too much, and wonder why men don't value them. If you refuse to cross your own boundaries just to please a man, you're showing him that you're a woman of substance. You're telling him, I'm not here to be played with, I'm here to be respected. And men, believe it or not, they notice that. They start to step up because they see that a woman like this is rare. And once a man realizes that you won't just bend to anything, he starts to value you in ways you may never even see. Independence, ladies, this is gold. Men love a woman who has her own life, not a woman who's waiting on his every move, not a woman who lives for him, but a woman who has her own friends, her own career, her own passions. When you refuse to be dependent on a man, when you refuse to make him the center of your universe, he notices, he respects that. Men are drawn to women who are confident, who can stand on their own 2 feet, who don't need a man to validate their existence. And here's the kicker, when a woman refuses to make herself available all the time, when she refuses to drop everything just because he calls, he values her more. He realizes she's not just any woman. She's someone special, someone he can't take for granted. Integrity and honesty are another set of things that men respect deeply. You see, men might not always say it out loud, but they notice when a woman refuses to lie, refuses to play games, refuses to compromise her values for temporary gain. If you're honest, if you keep your word, if you refuse to settle for less than the truth, a man sees that, and I'm telling you, men value that more than you think. There's nothing more attractive than a woman who stands for something, who refuses to be anything less than real. It makes her rare. It makes her unforgettable. Now, self-respect and intimacy, that's one that some women don't want to hear, but it's true. A woman who doesn't just give herself away, who waits for the right man and the right time, she's teaching men a lesson that a lot of women don't even realize they're teaching. She's showing them that love and respect go together, that intimacy is not a game. And let me tell you, men value that more than words can describe. When a woman refuses to lower her standards in intimacy, she becomes someone a man cherishes and never wants to lose. That kind of self-respect creates immense value in his eyes. And here's the last thing, and this one is huge, refusing to be manipulated. Men respect women who stand their ground, who refuse to let anyone control them, who refuse to compromise their dignity. If you're a woman who refuses to be pressured, refuses to give in just because he wants something, you become untouchable in his eyes. That kind of woman, A man won't just walk away from her. He values her because he knows she's rare. He knows she won't tolerate anything less than respect. So, ladies, it ain't about being difficult. It's about knowing your worth. It's about refusing the things that cheapen you and stand tall in who you are. Men value what they can't easily have. And the more you hold on to these 7 things, respect, patience, boundaries, independence, integrity, self-respect, and intimacy, and refusing manipulation, the more he will value you. And I promise you, once a man sees a woman who holds these things close, he's not going to let her go. He's not going to take her for granted. He's going to work for her, fight for her, and value her the way every woman deserves to be valued. Ladies, let me tell you something about men. Men are simple creatures, but they are also very observant, whether they admit it or not. What they notice, what they value, and what they chase is not always what women think. I've seen it a million times, and I'm going to tell you straight. The more a woman refuses certain things, the more a man values her. I'm not talking about playing games. I'm talking about knowing your worth, understanding your power, and refusing the things that make you cheap in the eyes of a man. Now, let's talk about respect first. Men notice respect more than anything else. If a woman lets a man walk all over her, if she constantly gives in, if she doesn't have standards, men lose interest fast. But when a woman respects herself, she commands respect without even asking for it. She sets a tone in the relationship that says, I know my value and I will not settle for less. And men, they can sense that. They might not always say it, but inside, they start valuing her in a way they never valued anyone before. They start to realize that she is rare, she is someone worth pursuing, and they begin to step up. Patience is another key thing that men notice. I'm not talking about waiting for a call. I'm talking about patience and how you let a relationship develop, patience and intimacy, patience in really building a bond. A woman who rushes, who gives everything away too soon, often gets hurt and is undervalued. But a woman who refuses to rush, who takes her time, she teaches a man to appreciate the process. She teaches him that good things, things worth having, are worth working for. And that's powerful. A man notices patience. He sees it, he respects it, and he values the woman for it. Boundaries are huge, ladies. I can't stress this enough. A woman who refuses to let a man cross her lines just to please him is someone a man will value more than words can describe. Too many women bend too much, give too much, and then complain that men don't treat them right. But when you enforce your boundaries, when you say, I will not compromise my principles, men start to respect you. They see that you are not just another woman. You are someone with depth, with standards, with a backbone, and that makes them value you. It's not about being rigid. It's about being confident in who you are. Independence is something men can't resist. A woman who has her own life, her own goals, her own passions is far more attractive than a woman who is constantly waiting on a man. Independence shows strength, confidence, and self-sufficiency. It tells a man that you are not desperate, that you are whole on your own. And men respect that. When you refuse to be dependent on a man for your happiness, when you refuse to make him the center of your universe, he notices. And when he notices, he values you more. He begins to see that you are a partner, not just someone to fill a space. Integrity and honesty are next. Men notice when a woman refuses to lie or play games. They may not always say it, but they respect a woman who refuses to compromise her morals. If you are honest, if you hold yourself to your principles, men will value you for it. They notice when you refuse to settle for anything less than truth. It makes you rare. It makes you someone they cannot take lightly. And believe me, men treasure that quality more than you might think. Self-respect and intimacy is also critical. Women often underestimate how much this matters. A woman who refuses to give herself away easily, who waits for the right man and the right time, commands a level of respect and value that is unmatched. She is teaching men that intimacy is sacred, that it is not just a game or something to be taken lightly. Men notice it. They may not always talk about it, but inside, they know the value of a woman who knows her worth in that area. That kind of self respect makes a man cherish a woman in ways that go beyond the surface. Finally, refusing to be manipulated is something men respect deeply. A woman who refuses to be pressured, refuses to be controlled, refuses to let anyone compromise her dignity is someone a man cannot ignore. Men notice strength. They notice when a woman will not bend just to make things easy for them. And when they see it, they value her more because they know she is not like everyone else. She is special, she is rare, she has standards, and she will not tolerate anything less than respect. Ladies, this is not about being difficult or playing games. This is about knowing your worth and holding to it. Men value women who have respect, patience, boundaries, independence, integrity, self-respect and intimacy, and a refusal to be manipulated. The more you hold on to these qualities, the more you are valued in ways you may not even realize. Men may not say it out loud at first, but they notice. They pay attention. They learn that you are someone who cannot be easily replaced, someone who is worth every effort, every moment of attention, and every ounce of respect. When a man sees a woman like this, he changes. He starts to show up differently. He starts to treat her differently. He begins to appreciate the things that most women give away too easily. And that, ladies, is what makes a woman truly valuable in the eyes of a man. It's not about being unattainable or cold. It's about being firm in who you are, refusing the things that cheapen you, and letting your worth shine in every aspect of your life. So remember, ladies, the more you refuse to compromise these 7 things, the more a man will value you. This is the secret that many women overlook, and it makes all the difference in love, in relationships, and in life. Men are not complicated. They just value what is rare, what is precious, what cannot be taken for granted. And when you hold on to these qualities, you are showing a man that you are the kind of woman he will never forget, the kind of woman he will fight for, the kind of woman who is truly priceless. Ladies, I want to talk to you about something that a lot of women don't understand, and it's about value. You see, men value what they can't easily have, and the more a woman refuses certain things, the more a man will respect her, admire her, and ultimately value her. And I'm not talking about games here. I'm talking about knowing your worth, holding on to your standards, and refusing the things that make you cheap in the eyes of a man. Let's start with respect. Men notice respect more than you think. If you let a man walk all over you, if you don't have boundaries, he might not value you the way he should. But when a woman stands firm, when she says, I know my worth and I will not settle for less, something happens. He starts seeing her differently. He starts to realize she is not like every other woman. She is someone special, someone rare, someone worth fighting for. And that is powerful. Respect creates value, and men pay attention to it whether they admit it or not. Patience is another thing men value deeply. And I don't mean just waiting for a text or a call. I mean patience in how you allow a relationship to develop, patience in intimacy, and patience in letting a man show his true colors. A woman who rushes, who gives too much too soon, often ends up undervalued. But a woman who takes her time, who refuses to let a man have everything immediately, teaches him that she is worth pursuing. That patience signals to a man that she is strong, she is confident, and she will not be treated carelessly. Boundaries are critical. Too many women bend too much, compromise too much, and then wonder why men don't treat them right. But when a woman enforces her boundaries, she is showing a man that she has self-respect and that she is not someone to be taken lightly. A woman who refuses to cross her own limits just to please a man is rare. And men notice that. They start valuing her because they see she is someone with depth, someone who will not be disrespected, someone who knows what she deserves. Independence is also a big one. Men are drawn to women who have their own lives, their own goals, their own passions. A woman who refuses to be dependent on a man, who refuses to make him the center of her universe, is far more attractive than one who waits around for him to validate her existence. Independence shows strength, it shows confidence, and men notice it. When a woman lives her life fully and refuses to bend her world just to accommodate a man, he begins to value her more. He realizes she is a partner, not someone to control or take for granted. Integrity and honesty are qualities men cannot overlook. A woman who refuses to lie, who refuses to play games, and who refuses to compromise her principles is someone a man will respect and value deeply. Men may not always voice it, but inside, they recognize the rarity of a woman who stands for truth and refuses to settle for less. That kind of integrity signals to a man that this woman is serious, she is genuine, and she is someone who will not tolerate anything less than respect. Self respect and intimacy is another thing men notice. Women sometimes think men don't care, but they do. A woman who refuses to give herself away too easily, who waits for the right person and the right time, communicates that intimacy is sacred and meaningful. Men recognize that. They notice when a woman values herself and doesn't let anyone take advantage of her. That kind of self respect increases her value in his eyes exponentially. Finally, refusing to be manipulated is something men pay attention to. A woman who stands her ground, who refuses to be pressured, and who refuses to compromise her dignity is someone a man cannot take lightly. Strength is magnetic. When a man sees that a woman will not bend just to make things easy for him, he starts to value her differently. He understands that she is not like everyone else. She is rare. She is strong. She has standards. And he begins to appreciate her on a whole new level. Ladies, this isn't about being cold or difficult. It's about knowing your worth, standing firm in your values, and refusing the things that diminish you. Men value women who respect themselves, who are patient, who have boundaries, who are independent, who hold integrity, who maintain self-respect and intimacy, and who refuse to be manipulated. The more you hold on to these qualities, the more you increase your value in the eyes of any man who crosses your path. When a man sees a woman like this, he notices. He begins to show up differently. He begins to treat her differently. And the more a woman refuses the things that cheapen her, the more a man realizes he cannot take her for granted. He values her effort, her attention, her presence, and everything she brings into his life. That, ladies, is how you create true value in a relationship. Ladies, I want to tell you something about men that most women don't understand. Men are simple creatures, but they notice things, little things, big things, the way you carry yourself, the way you treat yourself. And here's the secret. The more a woman refuses certain things, the more a man values her. I'm not talking about games. I'm talking about understanding your worth, holding your standards, and refusing the things that make you cheap in his eyes. First, respect. Men notice respect like nothing else. If a woman constantly gives in, if she lets a man walk all over her, he may not value her. But when a woman stands firm, when she says, I know my worth and I will not settle for less, he sees her differently. Suddenly, she's not like all the other women he's met. She's rare, she's special, and he realizes she's someone worth his attention. And let me tell you, ladies, men are hunters by nature. They value the woman who makes them work a little, who doesn't just hand herself over. Respect creates value, and men see it. Patience is another thing men value. And I'm not just talking about waiting for a call. I'm talking about patience in letting a relationship grow naturally, in letting a man show who he really is, in building a connection that lasts. A woman who rushes, who gives everything too soon, often ends up undervalued. But a woman who takes her time, who doesn't hand everything over on a silver platter, she teaches a man to appreciate the effort. Men notice patience, they respect it, and they value it because it shows strength, self-control, and maturity. Boundaries are crucial. Women, too many of you bend too much and give too much, and then you complain that men don't value you. But when a woman enforces her boundaries, She's showing him she has self-respect and won't tolerate being disrespected. A woman who refuses to compromise her limits is rare. And men see that. They value a woman who knows what she deserves and refuses to let anyone take advantage of her. That's the kind of woman a man will fight for because she's not just anyone, she's someone worth it. Independence is another key. Men are drawn to women who have their own lives, their own goals, their own